The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, Dr. Mark Pietropaoli is here, owner of Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing great. Thanks,
Good.
Tom.
You brought a guest. Do you want to introduce your guest, Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy Hall, patient of Dr. P's.
Okay, great. Amy, you seem very young. Why do you have to be a patient of Dr. P's?
I would say I'm probably not that young.
Well, you look
I had
young.
an injury and a knee surgery that Dr. P didn't do, and then my husband found him at the Home and Garden show and was tired of hearing me complain about my knee pain.
Yeah.
How did I ever get to the Home and Garden show?
Maybe we recommended that. Well, here's what we know. When you try to describe something like food, you'd say it tastes like chicken, right? You say, well, it tastes like chicken. In your world, you're kind of a rare breed. You have orthopedic surgeons, and they replace these. You're this new emerging medicine that I've just become aware of since we've been acquainted that doesn't require the heavy-duty surgeries. There's a way to heal and even grow cartilage that I never knew existed. So I think you getting out in the public and having conversations with people going, really? You can really do it, is a big deal.
Sure.
And is that what you're finding to be true?
Yeah, I mean, you did recommend the Home and Garden show, and it's kind of amazing. It's kind of come full circle, and we didn't choose Amy to come on the show because of that. I just happened to remember out there that her husband, Mike, met me there, and we started talking about doing things differently, not replacing knees with metal, plastic, and cement, but repairing them. And she was having a rough time, and they were going to go on a trip to Australia, and he was telling me all about that. And I just educated him that our bodies have an amazing ability to heal ourselves. And so, then she contacted us. I can let her kind of tell her own story, but it's a pretty amazing story. It goes back to, I think, like 2022 or something like that.
So tell us maybe the nature of the injury, and then what your process was, and then how things have changed in your life.
Yeah, so in 2022, I was kickboxing, and I did that at a fitness burn kickboxing in Camillus, love it. And I injured my knee during a kickboxing class.
That can happen sometimes.
It can.
Yeah.
I had a meniscal root tear, and then not a lot of stability with my knee after that.
Right.
And it was pretty devastating to me. I wasn't able to run anymore or do all those things just because of the stability.
You were pretty active, obviously.
Yes.
So that hurt you. In a way.
That hurt. So then I did have surgery. That happened in May of 22, and then I had surgery in December of 22.
What kind of surgery?
Meniscal root tear repair. And I would say I wasn't necessarily prepared for what the after surgery was about. I'd never had any sort of surgery like that before either. It was a pretty long recovery with that, and a lot of, in a way, more pain after the surgery than even during the injury.
A meniscus is so tiny, why would it be so painful and such a long recovery?
Yeah, it was just a lot of inflammation and a lot of things like that too with the recovery of it. I think the surgeon who did it did an excellent job. I just think the way my body handled the recovery of it as well.
So you were in a lot of pain.
Yes.
And then what happened?
A lot of pain. I would wake up during the night. I wasn't able to get back to kickboxing and do the things that I wanted to do. And 2 years after that, it had been a pretty rough time.
So you had the surgery, and then 2 more years, this thing didn't come full circle and heal. So you're still suffering.
I was still very much in pain.
Were they saying, oh, you need to, stand on your head, do special exercises, take this drug? What were those folks at the time telling you should do?
Yeah, they gave me a lot of pain medication and things like that. I'm not really one to like to take pain meds as well. I had done several rounds of physical therapy as well. And I wasn't able to find what would help me
So your husband meets Mark at the home show and says, my wife is suffering.
Right.
And then, just to be clear, you listened to your husband.
I did.
Okay,
I
so
did.
tell us what happened then.
So my husband said, I met somebody at the home show. I think you need to call him. He gave me all the information. So I reached out on social media in that capacity. And then my husband went with me for my first appointment as well. And
What was the first appointment like?
It was completely comprehensive. It was a unique experience, I would say, for a medical.
In what way?
I actually felt listened to and heard, and that my experience was unique. That it wasn't just something in a textbook. That it shouldn't be this way. It should be X, Y, or Z instead of like listening to everything throughout the whole process. And when I got my MRI, you went through and showed me all the things that were happening within my knee.
And they did the MRI right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So a whole comprehensive evaluation of my mobility, and looked at it as a full body experience.
So then what happened then?
So after the MRI, then we had another appointment where we went through all the different options and the best round of care for me. And that's when they were going to do the stem cell and the PRP and then the whole body comprehensive part, because when you're not active and you're my age, you have a tendency to gain more weight as well, which wasn't helping me with my recovery either.
Okay. So how long did that whole thing take?
So from the first initial appointment to when I had surgery, everything happened within like 2 weeks. Honestly, it was a pretty fast process.
And then tell me about the what happened after you had this procedures done.
So after I had the procedure done, we had physical therapy as well as the V-Slim therapy and weekly.
All right, with Dr. Pietropaoli's office.
Yes, in his office. Yep. So regular physical therapy, evaluation of how my knee was healing, and laser therapy as well, which I think was really important to keep everything inflammation down and to help me with my
so
healing.
you're struggling for a couple of years. You come in, they do his day of clarity. I remembered that for one. So
yes,
look at that.
Absolutely, day of clarity.
Then they put you in there. So tell me now, briefly, how do you feel now?
I feel great. I feel exactly the way I felt before the injury first happened. I am able to do all of the things I want to be able to do. I can run, I do kickboxing, I do all my gardening work. My husband's happy I'm back to cleaning again.
See, you listen to your husband.
Yeah, she's running, she's kickboxing. She lost a lot of weight, but it wasn't necessarily only the weight. We were talking about decreasing the inflammation in your body, and we were able to figure out, based on your genetics, what's best for you to eat and not eat. And you know, when you eat certain things, you feel more inflamed. When you don't, you feel better. So you're right, it's a whole body, holistic
So
approach.
it's good to hear from people that, you hear these things, and Mark, you've talked on the show, and people say, oh, is it real? It's real.
It's real. I am thrilled with what has happened.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your story. So we're going to, after the break, we're going to talk to Mark some more, and we've got someone else to share some stories about Victory in Motion, the home of knee repair, not knee replacement. How'd I do, Mark? Is that good?